Hello and welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. Today I have several Valentine themed cards that we're going to create featuring this stitched heart die. And you can see the stitch detail on there. And what's neat about Close to My Heart dies is they all come on their own magnetic sheets, so that's really handy for storage and organization. For our first card, you'll need a piece of white daisy and then some type of patterned paper. I've also gone ahead and cut out a large heart in the ruby cardstock. And now what I'm going to do is take the smallest of the dies on our stitched heart die set, and I'm going to just stagger these kind of off center there, and then I will die cut those, and then we will repeat the pattern up above. So I've gone ahead and run this through my Spellbinders die cutting machine, and now I'm just going to arrange those above and repeat that process. And there we'll set those little white hearts aside for another project. But now we're going to pop this up with the heart pattern paper behind it there. So I want this a little bit shorter because I don't want you to be able to see it. So I'm just cutting that just shy, around 5 inches. And then this is from the card and envelope value pack. So I'm going to adhere this with my tape runner on the right hand side. That way it will peek through our little heart border that we die cut on our piece of white daisy cardstock. Now, to really give this some wow factor, I'm going to pop it up on some foam tape, and I actually cut that a little bit too big, so I was just trimming it down. Now, this is going to require a lot of foam tape. So I have some fun foam that has adhesive on one side that I will cover this large portion with, and then fill in the areas around the hearts just with my little foam adhesive squares. You just want to make sure that your foam is all the same height so you don't have your card kind of cattywampus or anything like that. So I'm just tucking all these little bits and pieces around so we don't have any sagging areas on the card. We don't want that, and will remove the protective layering from the adhesive. Now the foam over there is only adhesive on the side we adhered to the cardstock, so I will have to apply adhesive with my tape runner, and then I'm even going to use a little bit of glue just to make sure that sticks really well. We don't want our cards coming apart on us. So just putting a few dots of the Tombow liquid adhesive, and then we can center this in our card panel here. I've cut this piece of white daisy to 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, so we have a little margin around the edge there, and you can see how that's lifted up, and it gives a really neat look through our die cut hearts. Now I'm just going to put my large ruby heart right over here, and now this I'm going to use the Love You from this My Cup of Tea. This is a retired stamp set, but it is still available in the online section in my online store. So if you missed out on this when it was in the catalog, you can still add this to your collection. And I'm just putting the stamp Love You, I'm just practicing on a piece of computer paper just to make sure it is stamping well, and it looks like it is. So we'll get that in black ink right across the bottom, and then I can use my scissors to trim this out. I want to leave a little bit of a tail on the right hand side so I can dovetail that just like so. It's a very simple little statement there, love you, but I think it packs a lot of meaning. So we'll just adhere this right flush with the edge going onto our heart. So here is our very first completed card, and I love the way you can kind of see down into those die cut hearts with that cute pattern paper. That is from a mix-in collection that is retired, but use what you have in your stash to create this very clean, simple card. Moving on to our next card, I have a piece of the black cardstock. This is Ballerina, and I've gone ahead and used our large stitched rectangle die to cut that out there. So these are our nesting rectangle dies, and you can see the stitching around the edge, and I've just done that off camera to save us some time. So then we have a piece, this is 1.5 inches by 5, and this one is 3.5 by 2.25. So then I have just a little zip strip here, and again, these are from mix-in paper packs that are retired. I'm using up what I have. So we have a circle there from the stitch circles, and then I've gone ahead and done the opposite side. You can see the contrast of the ballerina cardstock. So I did the second to the largest heart to cut that out. Okay, we are ready to start assembling this card. So I'm going to adhere my ballerina to the black cardstock, and now I'm just going to put a dovetail in the bottom of this just to kind of give it some interest there, and then we will adhere this to the left hand side, just leaving a little bit of the margin there. And because this is a light colored cardstock, just to give it a little bit more of a finished look, I'm using black ink to go around the edges, and then I will put this right over, just kind of want the same amount of space on either side there, left and right. So this was a zip strip off the top of the mix-in paper pack, and we'll put this kind of on the upper third portion of the card. And now I'm ready for my sentiment. I'm using the Bunches of Joy stamp set. There's this XOXO. There's also the word love on there. And this is another stamp set that is available in the online only section. So if you missed out on this one, be sure to check there. Lots of fun little sentiments and images on that stamp. So I'm just going to kind of go around the outside edge here following that arc of the circle and stamp the little XOXO 3 times. And I'm going to adhere this right like so. And then I'll layer my heart. But wait, I have a heart pattern stamp. And I'm sorry folks, you cannot get this one. It's not available anymore, but since I have it, I'm going to use it. I suppose you could draw lines, or if you have the Plaid Builder stamp from the core catalog, you could do some really cute plaid patterns on, you know, any shape you have. So I'm using my foam squares to pop up my little heart, and I'll layer this right kind of off center there. And then we can adhere the whole card panel to my base. And that way there's a white edge. I really like that look. It's a nice clean finish look. So I love all the layering going on in this card, and I want to show you just by switching up the color scheme you can get lots of versatility out of this layout. I've used that black shimmer trim and a different sentiment, You Make My Heart Smile. This is the February stamp of the month, so it's not available yet, but so grateful to have you by my side. I'm so blessed to have you in my life. My heart wears a smile whenever I'm with you. Just really nice sentiments for cards, scrapbook layouts, anything. I know I'm going to use this one a lot. So mark your calendars for February 1st for that one. Okay, moving on to our next project. This card is a great way to use up scraps from any paper collection you have. I have a ruby red heart here, and then a white strip for my sentiment. Now I've cut each of these black and white pattern papers to, they're all 4 inches in length, and they're 1.25 inches long. So if you space these just right, they will span your A2 card front perfectly. And because these are white, just so they stand out a little better, I'm going to ink the edges of the white pieces only. I'm not going to do the black pieces. And again, these are from a retired mix-in paper pack. I've just been on a roll using up all my mix-ins. I love the mix-in collections. I always buy them. And then all of a sudden I'm just totally inspired and I use them up. So I'm always thankful that I have them. But we're getting each of these into place. This card comes together really quickly. And there, see, nice and even. And then we're going to put our ruby red heart right in the center there. And I'm going to use that same XOXO Hugs and Kisses stamp there. And I'm going to stamp it 3 times. I'm going to start in the center and then one on either side. And then I will go ahead and pop this up. For this, I'm going to use my foam adhesive tape, and there's the thin roll, and that works perfectly for little sentiments like this. And you could span the entire back. That would probably be easy, but I'm frugal, so I'm just going to cut this and put little pieces there because that's all you need. Remove the protective backing, and then we will center the middle one right in the center of the heart. Okay, super simple. I love how fast this card comes together. It even has a little bit more of a masculine vibe to it. And speaking of masculine, I have some papers here from the Spruced Up paper collection. Look at those birds. I love this paper pack, and I can't wait to do some layouts with this collection. There's a little piece of the wood grain. There's pine trees on the other side. And then I have a little piece of espresso, and I've used our stitched brackets, and we'll show you these. These are brand new, and I've cut out a piece in vanilla. And then we have a heart in espresso and then a small one in mink. I'm going to put a little dovetail in the bottom of this wood grain piece, and this measures 5 inches long by 1 3/4 inches wide. And I'm just putting a little black ink around the edge, and I will do the same to this sangria pattern paper. I love this color. So this card has a little bit more of a masculine vibe. I mean, it's still a feminine card, but because of the color palette and the wood grain texture, it does make it a little bit more manly. I happen to have a very outdoorsy lumberjack kind of a husband, and I would definitely not give him a pink froofy lacy card. It'd be kind of funny, but I would feel good about giving him this card. So again, I think it's just the color more than anything. So I'm just sanding my large heart. I wasn't sure what side I want to use, so I'm going to sand both of them because there's 2 shades on, each cardstock piece. So there's the dark, and I think I kind of like the light piece, so we're going to use that. I'll go ahead and get my little stitched bracket in place, and then I'll apply adhesive to my heart. And I like the way that looks. Giving it a little distressed vibe goes well with this color scheme. And for my smaller heart that I've cut out in mink, I'm going to pop that one up. But before I do that, I want to add a little bit. These are the chipboard pieces that come, or it's part of the Spruced Up collection. And I like the way that looks, just kind of fanning out from the corner there. So I'll apply a little liquid adhesive, get that tacked down into place, and then I can put my little mink heart over the end of the stem there. Perfect. I also have some mink twine for my stash, and I'm just going to tie a little bow, and then we will secure that to the base of our heart just to kind of finish everything off. Apply a little liquid adhesive, and that should hold that nicely. And now we're ready to, I hate to cover up that bird paper, but there'll be more projects for sure. So I'm putting this on my white card base. So I'm going to use another Love You sentiment from the My Cup of Tea stamp, and I'm going to dovetail the end of this. I think that's become my go-to. There's not a project that doesn't have something dovetailed on it in one way or another. So we're just going to do that again. I just like the way it finishes it off. And this card, I actually saw something very similar on Pinterest from another stamper called Stampin' Pretty. So I just kind of tweaked it a bit and made it my own, but she definitely inspired me for this layout. So here is our finished project, and I love the way this looks with all the distressed heart and the wood grain paper and that rich sangria color. I just think it looks really nice. So there is our first card, and there's another version in a different color palette. And then we have this really fun, simple heart die cut border, and then our quick and easy pattern paper card on the bottom there. These cards can be used for so much more than Valentine's Day. I can think of a lot of people in my life that I would send a love you card or a you make my heart smile card just to brighten someone's day. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you are feeling inspired and are going to set out and make some Valentine cards yourself. So for more information, be sure to visit my blog at craftyconceptswitherin.com. I'll have all the detailed information for the cards that I made in today's video. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you don't miss what's coming next. Here's another video you may enjoy, and I'll see you next time.